Taurus. Welcome. And welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. I'm just settling in here. Here we go. So we are talking about June, which is crazy. I hope that May treated you well, is treating you well. I don't know when I'm going to release these videos. I'm kind of late. But yeah, I hope that you had a good May. I can't believe how fast it's going. Happy Pride Month coming up. I feel like I'm missing something. If you don't know already, I did release a new series of messages by Human Design Profile. I would love for you to check them out. Let me turn this light on. There we go. So if you know your Human Design Profile, of course, you can just go to that video and then skip to like 13 minutes in. Because at the beginning, I just kind of give a rundown of how to get your chart and stuff. If you don't know, I do include a link in the description of each one of those videos to get your human design chart. You would just need the same information as your natal chart, so your birthday, time, and location. It is a bit more finicky as far as time goes, because if the time is not correct, it could potentially change a few things in your chart. But of course, you know, if you actually really don't know your time, but if you have an inkling that you were born in the morning, afternoon, evening, I do truly believe that we just intuitively know. Just go with that. And use a time that kind of just corresponds with morning, afternoon, or evening. And yeah, and then of course head over to your corresponding profile. I chose the profile as far as like, you know, kind of how to do the videos, because reading about my profile is what got me hooked into human design, because it was like the first time that I felt seen and understood. I mean, it's certainly not the most important part. It's certainly not the least important part. You know, I think the beauty about human design is that, you know, all parts work together to form the whole. So, you know, again, if it's an introduction to human design for you, that's awesome. If you already kind of look into human design, that is also awesome. So enough of me blabbering about that. Let's talk about you. And like I said, we're talking about June. I know last month we did, I know, well, that's good. That's the tarot the tower in reverse. I know last month we did a 9, I'll get my words together here eventually, hopefully. We did a 9 card spread last month. I can't fit 9 cards into the frame, so we're just going to do 6. We're going to do 2 rows of 3. I was going to do 2 rows of 4, but I know I've mentioned before that like 3 is my number. So we're going to stick to 3s here. And usually when it starts doing that, it means it's like ready to go. But anytime a card flips out, I feel like I have to like shuffle a few more times to be sure that it's like incorporated. So I'm not trying to be annoying. 2 more. There we go. Oh my God. And there's the tower again in reverse. What in the sweet name? I think that's great though. I mean, that just kind of feels like things are coming together. I know you guys are probably like, oh my God, come on. Okay. I literally just heard in my head, stop. Okay. That tower card comes out. I'm going to Queen of Emotions. Page of Materials, 5 of Inspiration, 2 of Emotions, I can't believe it. We can't make this stuff up, can we? Except, of course, it didn't come out in the reverse. And part of me feels like I should put it in the reverse because both times it came out, it was in the reverse, and I don't shuffle reversals into the deck. The second time it came out with the Muse of Materials, or the King of Pentacles. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to, see, that's like where my struggle comes from, is that I don't want to affect the message. Right? But of course, I wouldn't even be considering flipping this into the reverse if it didn't come out twice in the effing reverse, right? So I don't know. What do you think I should do? Maybe we'll just talk about both. We'll talk about both ways. Okay, moving on. So, I mean, we'll just kind of go through each card as we normally do. I'm flipping this. Okay. I feel better now. It was like these little lightning bolts were like literally, it felt like they were like tasering me. Like I said, I mean, we'll probably talk about both ways anyway, because again, as I said, I don't want to affect the message. So we start with the Queen of Emotions, or the Queen of Cups. And I love this card because there's so much, I want to say beauty, but like, you know, we have, you know, this figure up here that's kind of walking through the water, the beach there, and the water is calm, right? And even underneath the surface, there's, you know, kind of this calming thing too. So it's like, it really just kind of feels like you are just grounded in your body, is how that seems. Like, you know, there's that analogy of like, you know, the duck, like when you see a duck, it looks like it's just kind of gliding, but underneath the surface, its little legs are just going, right? And that's usually, you know, like people kind of use that as an analogy of like, you know, I'm presenting as calm, but really inside I'm freaking the F out. But it's like, you know, it's kind of like you're presenting as calm, but you also feel that way. And if you don't, I mean, like this might just be an energy that's coming up for you. And when we talk about the queens, that's when, for me, I see the queen as us embodying the energy of the suit, because we have to feel it ourselves. We have to recognize the energy of that suit within ourselves before we can move to the king and be able to see it in others, or even share our knowledge, experience, feelings with others. You know, I mean, with the cups, there comes a feeling of intuition. There's a psychic energy that comes with that. So maybe there's even, you know, at her crown here, I mean, this is a crown, but like you can see this starburst coming out of there. There could be a crown chakra opening. This could also be at the third eye. So, I mean, the first and second chakras can be, or the sixth and seventh chakras could be opening, or even expanding. There's also this little portal down here that this fish is floating through, and that's at the heart space. So there could just be, which would make sense for cups also, because, you know, obviously emotions, cups, that's the heart chakra area. This is beautiful. There's even like just kind of this sense of like surrender, like going with the flow. Even like a self-love feeling. And then we have the Two of Emotions, or the Two of Cups underneath that. I know a lot of people see the Two of Cups as being like, you know, soulmates or relationship. It very well could be that. I mean, you know, there could be a relationship coming in because it's like you're kind of finally recognizing this love within yourself here. Because, you know, RuPaul says it all the time. Well, I believe, you know, like RuPaul says it at the end of every episode of Drag Race. But if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen? That's this. Like, you know, you have to recognize like that love within yourself. You have to be able to give that love to yourself before you can actually give love to somebody else, right? I mean, I'm not saying like that's the only way, right? Of course. I mean, we love people. But we can also, you know, Brene Brown talks about it in, is it Daring Greatly, or but she talks about how we can only love ourselves, or I'm sorry, we can only love other people as far as we love ourselves. We can only understand people as far as we understand ourselves. Right? I know that's not exactly what, like how she worded it, but anyway, so with the Two of Cups, you know, so we start with the Ace of Cups, right? Our cup is full, it's overflowing. We have an abundance of emotion, right? Like just bursting at the seams. And it would mean that our cup is clearly full, right? Like we are pouring from a full cup. The only reason why it's overflowing is because it's full, not because we're trying to pour from an empty cup, right? So then we move on to the Two of Cups. Now we're like, okay, we feel fulfilled, or like I feel fulfilled. My cup is full. I have the capacity to share with somebody else. So then you share with somebody, but they come in with their Ace of Cups also. So it's like, you know, this reciprocal, you're both giving and receiving. Like you're both pouring from a full cup. So, of course, that can be relationship. It could be a romantic relationship. Like you might meet somebody who is in alignment with this. Like they are on the same journey, right? Like they recognize the love within themselves. They have a cup that's also full and overflowing and have the capacity to share that cup with you. It could be a platonic relationship. You can meet a friend. It could be a business partnership. like a job or investor or partner, or, you know, it could also just be, again, like this self-love thing. Like you're pouring it back into yourself. And maybe even sharing that. Like maybe other people are starting to recognize that in you, or maybe you start kind of sharing your journey of this. Because it's almost kind of like this person just kind of seems to be like falling into this person seems to be supporting. So again, you know, like if you have the knowledge, if you have already been through it, right, you would be calling in on this queen energy because you have reached a point where you can express to other people, or even just tell other people, like share how you even got to this point. And people would just kind of, I don't want to say like flock to you, but it's kind of like, you know, it's almost like they would be really taking in the energy and the information that you have. I've been talking about those two cards for 11 minutes. So we move on to the Page of Materials here, or the Page of Pentacles. And the pages are, you know, kind of the younger energies. They're the apprentice energies. It's like right when we step into a new energy, and it's the energy of that suit. So Pentacles, of course, Earth, right? Very much your energy. Pentacles have to do with money, how we make it, how we spend it, how we save it. It also has to do with how we spend our time. What are we investing our time in? It also has to do with our physical bodies. It could even be saying like getting out in nature. But with a page, that's like, you know, either stepping into a new role. So you could be stepping into a new role of teacher, mentor, coach, something like that. You could be looking into going to school, or getting some sort of training. And then we have this Tower card. So let's talk about this Tower card. The Tower card generally talks about upheaval. It's kind of this sudden, you know, like lightning bolt that just kind of causes a little bit of chaos, maybe causes structures to crumble. But it's, you know, it can definitely be uncomfortable to be in the middle of, but it's generally and always for our highest good. It just sucks because you're looking at things like kind of falling out of your life and you're like, what the fuck? So if we go, you know, if we have this upright, it almost kind of looks like the floor gave out. And this person is just kind of falling. But also at the same time, you know, there's these lightning bolts here that's kind of like a net, or like, you know, bungee cords or something. Like you're not just free falling, because again, it's like intentional chaos. Like it's not meant to cause you harm or cause harm to the situation, but it is meant to just kind of shake things up. And even again, you know, like the things that no longer serve, those things are going to go. And I always kind of see it as like, you know, timelines, you know, timelines collapsing. If there are, you know, kind of people in your life that don't have your best interest in mind as well as theirs, they're going to go, right? I mean, just kind of these little stragglers here, you know, it's all going to be cleared out. And, you know, this card, there's a lot of green here, which is, again, heart chakra, going back to the Queen of Cups over here. But in the reverse, like, let's take a look at this, right? This feels like things falling into place. And it may also feel hectic. Like you might just kind of feel like you might just feel like there is a transition going on. But like the picture isn't clear to you yet. I also, like, I love how this figure is kind of, you know, it almost just looks like they're like taking a back dive into this page of Pentacles. But again, like this just, and there's a lot of green in here too. So it feels like, you know, things would be falling into place here for you. And it may just not be falling into place gracefully. And personally, I don't even care as long as it does fall into place. You know what I mean? So I'm a Taurus sun. And I went to have a Reiki session with an amazing Reiki master. She actually attuned me in Reiki 1, 2, and master level. Seriously, she's amazing. If you're in Colorado Springs, let me know and I can get you in touch with her. But I told her, because I haven't seen her in about 1.5 years. And I told her, I was like, I feel like I come to see you when there's a big transition going on and I can feel the energy of it, but I don't know what to do with it. And it stresses me out. I have a hard time, you know, kind of surrendering into it. Because I think, you know, like Tauruses, I think we like to know what's coming. We like to be prepared, right? We don't necessarily like surprises. Unless they're good, but even then it's kind of like, I want to know. Anyway, and she's like, well, that's what I'm here for. And we just sat and talked for an hour, which was great. And, you know, like, and of course, like she was telling me that she was pulling a hairball out of my sacral and working on my spine and like all this other stuff. So, definitely awesome. And of course, if it's accessible to you, highly recommend getting some energy work done, just to even kind of help you flow through these these energies. I don't know why I said these two energies, but maybe there are two energies going on here. That's interesting. This could also be, you know, again, because even like the more that I kind of look at this, it's almost kind of like this person is being flung off the rock here. And these things, you know, like it's like these are part of the pieces that are falling into place. But then this person is kind of being flung off to the right. So again, you know, if there are relationships around you, and again, relationships can be anything from platonic, romantic, partnership, business. Just kind of know that there is a reason for that. Whether you want to try to discover what the reason is or not, you know, just kind of sink into the energy. Then we have the 5 of Inspiration here, which is the 5 of Wands. And this one is interesting because there's all these mirrors here, right? But it's also these portals. This is, I feel like I literally was just like getting bounced around to each one of these. Because really, I mean, like this feels like discovering new parts of yourself, or even like looking at each part of yourself and finding this love for it. The Five of Wands generally talks about competition, but it also talks about training, because after the Five of Wands comes the Six of Wands, right? And the Six of Wands is success. Like you came out of this Five of Wands situation successful. So, I mean, you know, you might have to put a little bit of energy into Wands, talk about action, communication. It's also a card of information for me. There could even just be like many different options of what you can do. Because like I said, you know, like these kind of look like portals also. So it's kind of like maybe trying a few different things. But really, I'm just getting more of this wholeness thing. Like seeing yourself as whole, but like because you recognize all these different parts of you. I don't know, this one is cracking me up. Just the posture there, but it's also very powerful because this would be, you know, really kind of tuning into that feminine energy. And again, it's an energy, it's not gender related. It could also be masculine, of course, right? I mean, just the placement. So, you know, of course, having a balance of those energies. But then we come down here to the Muse of Materials, which is the King of Pentacles. And, you know, this figure is crossing this bridge into this new landscape. And then there's these big ass trees here that are giving shade. Like there's this level of protection in this card. And the King of Pentacles is, of course, the highest expression of the suit, right? So it's understanding how to create abundance. It's having abundance, you know, like having materials, resources, knowing how to get materials and resources. There's a leadership quality that comes with the King of Pentacles. And then we have Temperance at the bottom of the deck. And Temperance asks us to be patient. But oh, we have the Queen of Materials here. This could be a partnership. But patience. Temperance is here to remind us that there are energies that are going on behind the scenes that maybe we don't see. But I always think about tempering chocolate. Like there are certain steps that you have to do in order to temper chocolate correctly, right? And if you try to rush through those steps, or if you skip steps because you're in a hurry, you could ruin the chocolate. And you would literally have to start from scratch, right? So it's understanding that, you know, like there are things that are happening and things that are coming together in their own time. But it's also just a reminder that it is actually happening, right? Like things are actually coming together. This tower that you're feeling, whether it's upright or in the reverse, it is actually happening, or it will be happening. This is beautiful. I'm going to leave it there for now. And thank you so much for being here, Taurus. I will talk to you soon. Bye.